Hello, and thank you for joining me, Shanny Leigh, for this yoga flow for times of transition and change. I am currently filming in Valencia, Spain, and it's been very hard to find a place without noise interference or people interference. So hopefully the sound of the waves is calming in the background and not obnoxious. This yoga flow is to help us let go of things. So we'll be working on inversions, right, to kind of see things in another way, another light, as well as getting into the hips, because it's said that we carry grief and sadness in our hips. And the reason behind this flow is that I recently found out that someone who has been a mentor to me for the past 15 years has passed due to illness. And about 2 weeks ago, I had to end a type of friendship relationship that I thought was growing, and so I just needed to kind of let things go. So that's why I took a little trip here to Valencia, even though I'm currently living in Barcelona, and the reason I wanted to do this flow. So whether you are grieving or trying to let go of something or not, I hope you enjoy, and thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the mat. So we'll actually get started here today in Supta Baddha Konasana. So I invite you to come onto your back and have your soles of the feet together, knees open. If you're on a hard surface like me and you want to create a little triangle with your hands around your tailbone, you can kind of take some of the pressure off. Otherwise, you can have one hand on your stomach, one hand maybe on your chest, your heart, whatever feels better to you. And I invite you to find a few moments of grounding here. If your hand is on your stomach and your chest, I invite you to feel the way your chest and stomach rise and fall. So already getting into the hips here. Chest open to the world, open to receiving. Even though I've only been in Barcelona for a few months, I've already found a lot of wonderful support via the passing of my mentor and ending things with someone I cared about. And so just reminding ourselves that it's okay when we're struggling to reach out for help, right? To be open to receiving. It's okay to receive. I tend to be more of a giver, and so sometimes it makes me feel a little awkward when people give to me. So wherever you are at mentally and emotionally, whether you are letting go of something, grieving or not, I invite you to practice a little bit of gratitude here. Maybe gratitude for what that person meant in your life. Gratitude for the people that are currently in your life. Gratitude for the gifts that you have received. We'll take about 5 more rounds of breath here. Nice, slow, long, deep breaths. 3 more. Letting our bellies fully expand, especially as women. I think a lot of times we want to suck it in. Let's do 1 more round of breath here. And exhale, let it out, let go. As hard as it is. Maybe you start to wiggle your toes a bit. And then start to engage your inner thighs and your stomach so that you can bring your knees slowly up together. And then walk your feet out about hips distance apart if they're not already there. And find some gentle windshield wipers, just letting your knees go side to side. As we wake up the body here, maybe you want to start rolling the wrists or something. 1 more round of breath. And then come back to find center. Exhale everything out. And bring your knees into your chest to give yourself a little hug. Maybe you need it, right? Maybe you need a hug. Just know that you can always give yourself a little one. Let's take 1 more round of breath here. And then we're going to roll up. If that doesn't serve you because you are on a hard surface, you can just come to one side and find a way to the seat. Otherwise, start to rock back and forth. I'm not going to do too many because I'm on the ground until you find your way to a seat. And come to find Sukhasana, easy seat, cross-legged seat. And let's have our right foot in front. So take a second here, settle in. Your eyes can be closed or open, and let's have palms up, back of the hands on your knees. Again, this idea of receiving, be open to receiving during times of change. A lot of times it's letting something go so that we can let something in, something new in. We might not ever be okay that we had to let whatever that was go, but we can always invite in the new. It will never replace the old, but it can fill some of the space. One more round of breath. Exhale, side out. And if your eyes were closed, maybe you start to flutter them open. And on your next inhale, arms reach up into the sky. Take a nice big stretch. Maybe you interlace your fingers. Push your palms up if that feels good. Maybe you look up. And we'll lean it over towards the right. Exhale, right hand comes to the mat. Find a lateral extension. Keep the chest open. And keep your left hip down. Last round of breath here. And then inhale, reach it up and take it to the other side. Exhale. Last moment. Inhale, arms reach up, and we're going to twist towards the right. Exhale. Left hand comes to right knee. Maybe you gaze over your shoulder. I get to see the beautiful background of the Mediterranean. Hopefully that you live vicariously through me. Inhale, arms reach up and take it to the other side. Getting into the chest just a little bit here, right? Keeping our hearts open. Inhale, arms reach up and take it forward. Exhale, lean it over, starting to get into the hips. I don't know if it's actually scientific if we carry grief in our hips, but it always feels good to stretch them out. One more round of breath here. And then start to roll up and switch the cross in your legs, and we'll do that on the other side. Settle back in, and then arms reach it up, take it towards the left. Exhale, twist. So I'm trying not to sniffle, but if you hear it, it's because I'm recovering from a little bit of a cold. Inhale, arms reach up, and exhale, take it to the other side. I know it's nice and sunny, and it is fairly warm, but it is November, middle of November, and it's starting to feel a little bit more like fall. Inhale, reach up, than it was about 2 weeks ago. Exhale, fold it forward. So maybe you're just watching this video, not grieving someone, but transitioning from a time in your life. Maybe school or work is starting or ending. It's the fall or the spring. Lots of moments of transition and change throughout life. Start to roll it up. Inhale. Exhale, side out, and we'll come on to our knees. So as you're ready, maybe your arms reach up, and if you want, you can roll right on over. I'm going to adjust myself on my mat here, but find your way into tabletop pose, Vinyasa. Keep your core nice and tight. All 10 fingers equally ground down into the earth, into your mat. And then as you're ready, finding our cows and cats. Inhale, drop your bellies, you shine your chest forward, breathe it in. And exhale, breathe it out as you arch your back like a cat. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, arch your back. Just once more. Inhale. And exhale. Start to bring it back to tabletop. Walk your hands out a little further and taking it to cobra. Shift your weight forward. Drop your hips to the mat. Shine your chest forward again like you were doing in cow. And sink here. If you want to invite some movement, you can go side to side. Looking over one shoulder and then the other. Come back through center. Again, find gratitude. Big exhale out. And we'll take it to Balasana. As you're ready to start to exhale to lift your hips up and shift them back towards your heels, stretching everything out. Finding a moment of grounding here, right? So now our chest is facing the earth. It's okay if we need to cocoon ourselves during a moment of transition so that we can emerge stronger with more grace. One more round of breath, and then we'll take it to downward facing dog. Start to lift your hips up, tuck your toes, and exhale, lift your hips, shift them back, and settle into your Adho Mukha Svanasana here. Maybe you pedal your feet, taking your dog for a walk. So coming into one of our first full inversions here. So maybe your eyes are usually closed, but open them at this moment and start to find stillness in your Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale. Ground down in all 10 fingers, shoulders are nice and broad and open, chest is open. And take a second to look at your knees, look at your feet, look at the world upside down behind you. Right? It's always an invitation during a time of change to try to see things in a new light, in a new way. Just like one more second, appreciate how the world looks different. Inhale. Exhale, big sigh out. And then start to lift your heels. Inhale, bend your knees, gaze forward, and take it to the front of your mat. Step or hop your way there into Uttanasana, forward fold. Find softness in the knees, slight bend. Let everything hang down. Now notice if the world looks a little bit different with your legs closer to your hands. Again, still looking upside down, this inversion, right? Getting some blood flow into the head. And then if you want, you can ragdoll your arms. Maybe you swing around side to side. I often have my eyes closed, so I encourage you to keep them open here so that you can see the world in a different light. Let's do one more round of breath here. And then start to find center. If your hands are in ragdoll, let them come back to the mat or your shins, wherever they were. Inhale, start to find cobra in the chest. Lift it up. Maybe your hands come to your shins. Exhale, bow it back down. Rising all the way up, ground down, and your feet, arms reach up into the sky. Big stretch, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. And exhale, take your hands heart center. Take a second here again, find grounding. Feel the weight in your feet. Feel how strong and sturdy you are. Just know whatever you're going through that you can do this, right? We can do hard things. It's one of my favorite phrases of Glennon Doyle. If you don't know who Glennon Doyle is, look her up online. Exhale, let it out. So far, your track record of surviving every hard day is 100%. So keep that in mind. Arms reach up, in or reach up into the sky. Take it back down to the mat. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, find your halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, nice flat back. Then bend your knees, plant your hands, and you can step or hop your way back to plank. Take a second here just to hold, activate the core. Again, tapping into a little bit of our own inner strength. We can do this, and it's okay if we're not strong every day or every moment, but we are strong throughout our lives. One more round of breath. Exhale, side out, and you can take it all the way to the mat, or inhale, shift your weight forward, elbows stay close, lower all the way down, or halfway in chaturanga, untuck the toes, drop your hips, they're either on the mat or not, shine your chest forward in your version of baby cobra, rising cobra, upward facing dog, and exhale, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Lift your hips, send them back. Take one more round of breath here. Exhale, side out. Weight in the left foot, inhale, right leg lifts up into the sky. Keep it straight here, right? It's three-legged dog. So it's okay if your heel's not on the mat. If it is, maybe you don't have as much room to lift your leg. Try not to open your hips so that you can get it higher, right? So keep your hips square to the mat, and that might mean that your leg doesn't go as high, and that's okay. Activate your glutes, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
One more round of breath. Exhale, side out, and then we'll bring our knee to our chest 3 times. Exhale, shift forward into a plank as you bring your knee in. You can also have your left knee down and just extend it back, or come back into 3-legged dog. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring it in, feel the crunch, and then step your foot all the way through between your hands and adjust into your runner's lunge, corredor. Let's take a second here, maybe shift back and forth. Hands can stay on the mat. If you have blocks, this could be a great place. If you don't have enough space, you can also bring your elbow to your knee. So wherever your hands are at, shine your chest forward, push energy through your back heel, find length in the back leg, stretching into the front of the hips. Let's take one more round of breath here. Exhale, side out, and then we'll be lifting our hips and shifting them back as we straighten our front leg to come into pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. So as you're ready, start to straighten your front leg to lift your hips, inhale, and fold your chest forward, exhale. Inhale, come back to runner's lunge. Exhale here. Taking a little bit quicker now. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lunge. 3 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Twice more. Inhale, look inward at your own strength. Look outward at the world. Last time, inhale, lift, and settle in here, exhale. And don't lock out your front leg, find a nice soft bend, right? It could still move. Hands again can be on the blocks, you can be on your fingertips, wherever your hands reach. Last round of breath here. And we're going to be walking our hands towards the left to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So as you're ready, take it there. Start to turn your feet towards the long edge of your mat, or I should say your toes, and fold it forward. Still find a gentle bend in the knees. Last round of breath here, and then take your left hand, plant it firmly down in front of your face, stretch into your arm, push into the mat so you find nice length, and then take your other arm and reach it up into the sky, find a twist. So this is an inversion, right? So we were looking down, upside down, now you're looking up at the sky or the ceiling, wherever you're at. Exhale, switch, take your right hand to the mat, and now open the other arm to the sky. Last moment. And exhale, take both hands back down to the mat. See if you can't sink just a little bit further. Again, look upside down. See the world in a different way. Exhale, see if you can't let something go. I know it's hard, and we might not be able to do it at every moment, and that's okay. Also finding grace. Both hands come to the mat. Inhale, flatten your back, take it back towards the top as we find our runner's lunge once more. Sink your hips, plant your hands, and take it back to your plank. Move through your Vinyasa flow. So maybe you take it all the way to the mat, maybe you lower halfway down, maybe you find Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog, maybe you find Cobra. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Again, look at the world upside down. Exhale, side out, and now we'll do that on the other side. Right foot stays, left leg lifts up into the sky, and again, hold here for about 3 rounds of breath to check your posture. So it's okay if your back heel isn't on the mat. It's okay if your leg's not super high. Ground in and all 10 fingers, lift with the glute. One more round of breath, and then knee to chest 3 times, either with your right knee on the mat or coming into plank. Exhale, feel the crunch. Inhale, extend it back, right? So just don't bring your knee into your chest, bring it in, pull it in, push the floor away. Inhale, lift. Exhale, and step your foot all the way through. Come in to runner's lunge. Again, you can find movement here if you want. Shifting back and forth. If your hands don't reach the mat, you can have your elbow on your knee. Wherever you find stillness. Take one more round of breath here. Exhale, side out, and finding our pyramid. Inhale, start to straighten into your front leg, push in your front heel, fold your chest over your straightening front leg, side out. Parsvottanasana. Come back into your runner's lunge. Exhale here. And now taking a little bit quicker for 4 more times. Inhale, lift and fold. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, look inward. Exhale, look outward. Twice more, inhale. And exhale. Last time, inhale, lift. And settle into your pyramid pose. Again, soft bend in the front knee. Another inversion. Look at the world upside down. If your eyes are closed, I invite you to open them. Just take a little check. Let's do one more round of breath. And we'll come back into our lunge. As you're ready, exhale, find your way there. Hands plant on the mat and take it back. Hands on the mat. And now we'll walk our hands off towards the right. I'm gonna turn so you're not staring at my backside, but walk your hands off towards the right to come back into another wide-legged forward fold. Hang out here. So now we can do a few things just to get into the shoulders a little bit, open our chests up just a little bit to be open to receiving the love and support that others show us. As you're ready, inhale, open your arms towards the sky. Maybe you bring them to your low back. Maybe you hang out here. Maybe you grab your forearms, or maybe you find a bind, interlacing your fingers, and open your hands up overhead. Wherever you are at, the point of this is the inversion. Let's do 2 more rounds of breath. And then as you're ready, start to bring your hands back down to the mat. Inhale, shine your chest forward and start to walk back towards the front of the mat. Find your runner's lunge and then come back into plank. Move through your Vinyasa flow. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. One big round of breath here, and then we'll take it up to the top. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, step or jump your way to the top. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, flat back, cobra in the chest. Exhale, pour back over. Rise all the way up, arms reach up into the sky. And exhale, hands can come down by your side in Tadasana mountain pose or at heart center. And we'll go through another little flow. Inhale, arms lift up again, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Salute the ones you love. Exhale down if you believe they're up in the sky. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees to plant your hands. Find your way to plank. Move through your Vinyasa flow. We'll settle in together in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, big breath here. Exhale, big breath out, let it go. What can you let go? Left foot stays, inhale, right leg lifts, and this time, yes, open your hip, bend your knee so that you can scorpion leg your dog. Try to stay square in the chest, it'll try to open. Still stay grounded in all 10 fingers. If you feel a lot of weight in the heels of your hands, you can prop yourself up with a little blanket right under the heels of your hands. Fold up your mat. Last round of breath. And now we'll be taking our right knee right outside of our right elbow. Shifting forward into a plank, or otherwise have your left knee down and just tap your elbow. As you're ready, exhale, shift it forward, tap, kiss your elbow, and open back up to your scorpion leg dog. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, tap, tap, tap. And now step your foot outside of your hand to come into your lizard pose. So it's like lunge, but a little more open in the hips. You can stay up on your hands if you have blocks. This is a great place for them. If you have opening, you can drop down onto your elbows. You can even turn onto the outside of your outer foot. Whatever feels better in your body. Maybe you bow your head, honoring this time of change, honoring this letting go, honoring this process, right? With every letting go, whether it's a more serious, quote unquote, grief or not, it is. Times of change are times of grieving in small ways or big ones. Let's do one more round of breath here. If you are on your elbows and your foot is out, come back onto the bottom of your foot, come onto the palms of your hands. Take a second, shine your chest forward, and we'll be taking it back to our scorpion leg dog. Start to lift your hips, engage your core so that you can lift your knee back. And maybe you stay here. If you like to add wild thing by flipping your dog, you can. You don't have to. Just lift your knee higher into the sky if you're still in scorpion leg, three-legged dog. One more round of breath. And wherever you are at, we'll come back into downward facing dog and move through a little vinyasa flow. Undulate your body forward, elbows in, lower halfway down, untuck the toes, shine your chest forward. Or I should say tuck the toes, now untuck. Bring it back, downward facing dog. And now we'll do that all on the other side. Right foot stays, lift the left leg into the sky as you breathe in and open the hip, bend your knee, dropping your left foot towards your right glute to find your scorpion leg, three-legged dog. Shoulders stay square. Lift your knee high into the sky. And now again, either in tabletop or coming into plank, kiss the outside of your elbow 3 times. Exhale, feel the crunch. And lift it up, right? This is to feel our own strength. We can do hard things. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, touch the outside and step your foot all the way outside of your left hand to come into lizard pose. Again, up on your hands, or you can come onto the outer edge of your foot or on your elbows. All of the 3, none of the 3. You choose your flow. Let's take one more round of breath here. And then wherever you are at, come back onto the bottom of your foot, come back onto your hands. We'll bring it back into our 3-legged dog. Start to lift your core up first, engage, ground down in the back foot, and then bring your knee back up. And again, maybe you stay here and try to lift your knee up just a little bit higher. See if your hip isn't a little bit more open, or you can flip your dog. I won't cue it, just go there if you know wild things in your practice. Just for one more round of breath. And then wherever you are at, come back to downward facing dog. A big sigh out. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward, and step or hop your way to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold it down. Rise up. We always do. Inhale, arms reach up into the sky. You will eventually. Exhale, hands down. So just one more little flow, and then we'll start to close it out. Arms reach up again. Exhale, fold it forward, breathe out. Halfway lift. Bend your knees, plant your hands, find your way to plank, move through your vinyasa flow. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Sigh it out. One more time, let it go. Look at the world a different way, and right foot lifts up again. Inhale, open your leg, or I should say your hip, and now we'll touch the back of our elbow 3 times. Exhale, kiss, lift it up, inhale. Exhale, kiss, lift it up, inhale. Exhale, touch, and now swing your foot off towards the left, drop your shin onto the mat, and sink your hips down into your pigeon pose. Stay up here for a moment. Chest is nice and tall. Getting into the hip flexor, getting in the hip a little bit different. If full pigeon is part of your practice and you want to go there by bending your back leg and doing the whole grab, it's not in mine. And then you can stay up here, or you can start to bring your elbows down to the mat, maybe your chest, maybe you drop your head. So again, I don't know if it's scientifically proven that we carry sadness in our hips. I've just heard it throughout my own yoga journey. And regardless, it does feel good to stretch out the hips. You know, we have all gone through trials and tribulations. And I like to think, hey, if we're here today, that means we've made it through every single other one. And that means we can make it through this one. Let's take one more moment here. And then start to come to the hands, shine your chest forward. And then plant your hands. Start to tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, engage your core so that you can lift your legs and bring it back to downward facing dog. Let's move through a little vinyasa flow to get some movement into our body. Come forward into a plank, elbows bend, shine your chest, drop your hips, and bring it back, downward facing dog. And we'll do that on the other side. Right foot stays, left leg lifts, hip opens, and we'll kiss the back of our elbow 3 times, not the outside of it, right? So just the back touch, open up, inhale, exhale, inhale, right? You are strong. Exhale, and now swing your foot off towards the other side, drop your shin, and find pigeon on the other side. So again, you can bend your back leg, you can find a bind if you want to stretch your quads out, do whatever grab you can in your practice. I just encourage you to stay here for a moment. Getting into the hips a little bit differently than if we were folded over. Take one more round of breath here. And now maybe you fold it towards the mat. Exhale. Bow your head if you want. You can create a little pillow with your hands. I hope the sound of the waves in the background is calming. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath here. Last moment. And then as you are ready, start to walk your hands in, shine your chest. Just one more moment here. Look up. See the world as it is. And then tuck your back toes, lift your back hip, and slowly take it back, downward facing dog. Nice and slow. Now we'll do 5 little just vinyasas, not standing up. If you want to stand, you can. But coming from here, we're going to dive our chest forward. If you just want to come forward into plank and move through some type of flow, you can. If you want to do the chest dive, I'll cue it. As you're ready, inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, keep your elbows in. Exhale, start to dip your chest towards the mat. Then tuck the tops of your feet as you move through upward facing dog. And exhale, we'll find downward facing dog. Other option is to come into plank and move through your flow. 4 more times, just finding movement here before we close out our flow. 3 more times. Big exhales and inhales. Twice more. Last time. Get a little bit more heat into the body. And meet in downward facing dog. Exhale. Now we'll be coming up to yogi squat. I'm going to hop right into it. If you want to step one leg up and then the other, you can, bringing the feet out outside of the hands. Inhale, lift the heels to prep, bend your knees, and either hop or step your way into your yogi squat. A little frog jump here. I know maybe it feels a little bit ridiculous, but I also like to think that during serious times, we need to remember to not take ourselves so seriously, right? So coming into Malasana, I'm gonna face you here. Sinking the hips down. This is also a great place for a block. If you do need to have your heels lifted, I say whatever works in your body as long as it doesn't hurt. Pressing into the outside of your arms, into the insides of your knees, finding space, nice tall spine. And you can always be in a little half squat. It'll be more of like an active pose, but you can do that too. So maybe you stay here. If you want to open it up, take your right hand, extend it out, open your left arm to the sky. Maybe you stay. Maybe you find a bind if that's in your practice and you're open for it. Another nice little hip stretch here. If you're in the bind, open it up and take it back center, and we'll take it to the other side. Other arm opens, extends. And maybe you stay here, or maybe you find your bind. Let's do one more round of breath. And then release whatever bind you have. Bring it back to your yogi squat. And we'll stand up right from here. As ready, ground down in the heels, arms reach up into the sky. Big stretch. And hands come heart center. We'll be coming down to the mat via chair pose. So we'll come to chair and then we'll roll back and forth between chair and onto our backs. If that doesn't work for you, just stay in chair and then find your way on your back. So as you're ready, find your positioning in your feet for chair pose, Utkatasana. Arms reach up and then sit your hips back as you sink into it. Arms can reach forward, or if you want, they can be at your chest. If your feet are apart, maybe walk them in. And now if your hands are extended, bring them to your chest. Exhale, find gratitude here with your Anjali Mudra prayer hands. And take your left elbow off towards the right, find a twist. Look at the world a different way. Twisting helps with that too. One more round of breath, invite the shaking. You can do hard things. Inhale, lift, and take it to the other side. Maybe you smile. I know it's sometimes hard when times are changing. Inhale, come back into chair, arms reach out, and then this is where we roll. Maybe you sink your hips all the way down, roll it back, and try to roll it back forward. I have to do a little side, but that's okay. 4 more times. Exhale. I shattered my tailbone. Inhale. Exhale. When I was younger, so I have to kind of like roll around it. Inhale. Exhale. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Right. Don't take yourself too seriously. I know you might feel ridiculous. Inhale. And exhale. Come on to your back. Knees come in towards your armpit grabs. The bottom of your feet, Ananda Balasana, happy baby. If you need to adjust on your mat, you can. And big sigh out. So right, if that didn't work for you, you can just have stayed in chair or just come down to the mat. Take one more moment here. And then we'll close out class with a bridge pose and then into wheel pose, Urdhva Dhanurasana. So if you know wheels in your practice, we can go there. Also shoulder stand. If not, just take these next few minutes for you. So as you're ready, start to bring your knees together. Feet come to the mat about hip distance apart. And then tuck your tailbone so that there's no space between your low back and the mat. Hands can come down by your side, and we'll all start with bridge. Start to squeeze the glutes together and use the squeeze to lift your hips, right? So you don't have to like push your hips and compromise anything. I don't want your hips crazy high and your glutes not engaged, and then your back crazy arched, right? So try to keep a nice strong back, feeling the bottom parts of the glutes and the upper part of the hamstrings working. Chest is nice and open. And now you can stay here. I'm gonna come into a shoulder stand if that's part of your practice. If not, exhale, sit your hips down and just do whatever you want. If you wanna come into shoulder stand, lift once more on an inhale, start to walk your shoulders even further underneath you. I like to interlace my hands underneath and use a little cup between my hands to drop my tailbone as I bring my knees in towards my chest and use the momentum to lift them, my legs, into the sky as my hands find my back for support. And now you can stay here. Maybe you drop one knee, maybe you bend the other, kind of play around with this. Right, so if you are in our shoulder stand, how do you see the world a different way? Another inversion here. And then maybe you drop your feet overhead to come into Halasana, plow pose. And how does the world look different? Maybe you try to smile, even if you don't feel like it. Take one more round of breath here. And then if you are in plow or shoulder stand, with control, come out of it. Take a second to hang out and bridge again. And then if you want to do wheel pose, you can. Otherwise, just start to, you can do like a reclined pigeon pose or Gomukhasana, something with the hips. You can already get into your Shavasana. I'm going to do wheel pose. If you're there with me, take your hands by your ears, fingers point towards your shoulders. You can come up onto the crown of your head first, or you can just lift right into it. Squeeze your glutes, press into your hands, start to lift your hips and push your chest into the sky. Stay squeezed in the glutes. 5 rounds of breath. Nice and slow. One more round of breath. What can you let go of? Slowly start to bend in your elbows. Bring it back down. If you were in wheel, take your feet a little wide, knock your knees together. Hands can come to your heart, your stomach, one or the other, both. Feel your heart beating. And if you aren't already there now, you can make your way to your final resting pose. Maybe you want to come back into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose, starting and ending how we began, right? The cycle of life. Or maybe you just stretch everything out into Shavasana. You choose, this is your flow. We'll just take a few more moments here. I think more than anything, transition, having to say goodbyes, having to let go of people you don't want to because you know it's the best for you or that you deserve better. or having to let go of people because they passed and you don't really have an option. It always makes me appreciate the present and the now, and that every single day is a gift. It truly is. It is cliche, but I truly believe it. And what we do today is what's most important. And maybe not every day is quote unquote lived to the fullest, right? We have responsibilities. I know me being on a beach in Valencia, Spain does not look like it, but we do. I'm in school. I do have the homework I need to do. So not every day looks quote unquote the fullest, right? Not every day is a crazy experience, a crazy adventure, a high. But I think there's little things that we can do every day where I always try to close out a day with thinking that if today might be a little bit morbid, but if today was my last day, would I be okay with how I lived it? Did I love greatly? Did I live gently? Did I gracefully let go of things that really aren't actually that important? Did I tell people that matter to me that I care? Maybe I didn't live the most amazing day because we have things like we have to get up for work and take care of our families and our friends, and right? We're not climbing mountains and hanging out on beaches every day. But at the end of the day, would you be okay with how you lived that day if it had been your last? Maybe it's a little morbid, but my parents are in healthcare. I work in public health and emergency response. I've had a fair amount of family members and friends pass, and so all of those have just always made me truly, truly, truly believe that every day is a gift. And I'm not perfect. I get angry. I say things I probably don't mean, or I would have said more gently had I taken a moment to breathe. I always try to end the day having attempted to repair any possible damage I might have made. Or otherwise, forgiving myself and forgiving others and trying to let it go with gratitude and grace. And don't forget, if you are going through this time of transition yourself, to give yourself grace as well. Let's take one more round of breath. Exhale, side up. Wherever you are, start to come out of your final rest. Maybe you're bringing your knees together, or maybe you're pulling them into your chest. Maybe you give yourself one more little hug, but knowing that you need it too. And then maybe you roll onto one side if that feels good. Maybe you roll back up like we did earlier. Either way, come to find a seat. You can be in lotus, you can be in sukhasana, whatever works in your body. Hands can be on your knees, palms up. Maybe you want them stomach and chest, maybe both on your chest. Thank you for joining me. I hope that whatever you're going through, if you are going through a period of transition and letting go, just know that there are so many other people with you. We are never alone. And the light in me truly loves the light in you. Thank you again. Namaste.